Good day everyone. In this video presentation, I will discuss to you the audiovisual method in ELT teaching. So the objectives of this method is to hold the attention span of the learner for the duration of instruction. Second, to use all the relevant information available from different sources. Third, to make learning experiences last longer. Fourth, to increase the effectiveness of the teaching language. And fifth, the use of this technique is being introduced in formal and informal education. It is a new movement and has a valuable contribution in developing good education techniques. The age of technology has presented to the field of education a variety of instructional material and equipment, which work as tools in the education profession. So in the lesson plan, I have submitted the tools. The tools there are the multimedia and the visual. Next, the introduction of this report is, it is said that the best way to human's heart is through his stomach, but the best way to his brain is through his eyes and ears. As the name shows, it is the combination of audiovisual methods, both through eyes and ears, because it is studied that 85% is what they learned through eyes, and it is often linked to the audiolingual method of teaching because both methods use tape recorders, work mainly with dialogues, and were presented as scientifically based methods during the 1960s. This method is intended for teaching everyday language at the early stage of the second or foreign language learning. The audiovisual method is an effective communication emphasizes the teacher's role in terms of selecting the course content and also of integrating the course content with the appropriate materials like pictures, graphs, models, charts, maps, radio, television, recording player, and video, and etc. All these materials are complementary and supplementary to course content. These materials are called audiovisual aids. The word audio refers to the hearing and visual refers to the seeing, and these techniques are effective in classroom mainly through the two senses of hearing and sight. And there, the audiovisual technology is related with instructional technology. Audiovisual aids include all the means and techniques which a teacher may collect from the resources and display them to make the teaching appear real. The theoretical base of this theory is learning theory of audiovisual method is based on using any technology which facilitates teachers to teach less and the learner to learn more to expedite learning. It creates native atmosphere in the classroom with audio and visual devices, making learning more enjoyable and effective. Audio and video aids are indispensable to substantially accelerate mastering of English grammar by Shelby 2012. The rule of teacher and learner. The rule of teacher is to avoid the use of mother tongue and orient the learners towards native pronunciation, intonation, and other suprasegmental aspects of English through video lessons. Learners are expected to imitate native speakers through visuals. The characteristics of this method is in teaching, it strengthens an instructor's verbal presentation. It conveys information mainly via sound and image instead of by text. Audiovisual aids is an instructional aids that can be heard as well as seen. This method usually enhances reading skills such as speed reading, reading comprehension, and etc. It is also used to assess the teaching of writing skills, which include sentence construction, introduction, and connectors, paragraphs construction, and essay writing. The procedure of this method is first, the lecture starts with film strips or tape presentation. Next, the material is explained by a mentor through pointing, demonstrating, selective listening, question and answer. Next, the dialogue is repeated several times and memorized by frequent replays of tape recording and film stream or by language laboratory practice. Next, the students are gradually emancipated by the film strip and tape recorder. And the last is, there are also some phases in the techniques of audiovisual teaching. The skills of this method is, it is focused on the 4 language skills equality. What are the 5 phases of audiovisual method? First, the presentation phase. In the presentation phase, the pictures are presented in front of the learners for 2 times or little introduction. Second, explanatory phase. The explanatory phase, teachers is going to describe every difficult and complicated thing in the whole presentation. This can also be the interactive session between the teachers and the students. Third is the imitation phase. The imitation phase, tape recorder and some sound system is used to repeat the presentation in order to correct the grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation of the students. The fourth phase is the exploitation phase. The learners continue to absorb the presented dialogue, and interactive session is also continued here. Next, the fifth is the transposition phase. In transposition phase, the students are supposed to use the learned material in new situations. It happens at the end of the lesson. The activities of this method is, it employs pronunciation drills, sentence patterns, fluency, spelling, reading with speed, handwriting, composition, everyday speech by using rotating charts, slides, films, videotapes, posters, tape recorders, radio, TV, computerized language lab, and the language software. There are advantages and disadvantages of this method in teaching ELT. First is the advantages of this method. It makes an important way for students to understand the lecture and comprehend it because of use of pictures and animations along the listening material. Second, This approach makes students fluent in speaking other languages. Third, audiovisual method increases students' learning and creates a more welcoming environment in class. Fourth, the students often enjoy this process because of the presence of both audio and visual aids. The fifth, audiovisual aids are used to explain complex subject matters. Using this method, new language can be taught more clearly with the introduction of new vocabulary, and develops the lesson, creating the real life situation and motivating the students and creating interest. The sixth is it strengthens the relationship between the teacher and the learners by effective transmission of your ideas and experiences, and through pupils' participation, and etc. A teacher can make presentations in the class more interesting and effective by using various audio-visual aids. Next, the technology can improve students' motivation to learn. Use of technology using pictures, documents, papers, videos, animations creates students' engagement, coupled with the confidence which is provided by the teacher during question and answer session makes it easy to learn. Next, students are able to think creatively. The using of audiovisual aids, students find additional ways to process subject information. Next, this method is important because teachers go beyond the words to teach students new things. Next, the show and tell session are useful to promote students' involvement. And the last is smart classes are digital in nature, which are rapidly transforming the way of teaching and learning with innovative meaning use of technology. These smart classes bring the technology right next to the blackboard for teachers in the classrooms. Students learn difficult and abstract concepts watching highly engagement visual and animation. This makes learning an enjoyable experience for students while improving their overall academic performance in colleges. But there are also advantages of this method. The first one is the basic method of teaching is repetition. Second, mechanical drills and audiovisual method are boring, mindless, and counterproductive. Third, the audiovisual materials are open in the same kind of misuse and harm. The fourth, the audiovisual method doesn't develop writing and reading skills. The fifth, this method allows extensive use of equipment with all associated problems of blackouts, extension leads, carrying tape recorders from classroom to classroom. And the last is, in underdevelopment areas and classes, this arrangement can be done because of the low budget. In conclusion, there are many ways in teaching students, but the audiovisual method is one of the best techniques of teachers on teaching their students. However, there are advantages of this method, but with the teachers that is interested to teach his or her students, she can find ways to make this method more effective for her or his learners. So that's all for this presentation, guys. Thank you for watching.